Sofia Fedir live with us right now. Sofia, good morning. Thank you very much for speaking to Republic TV. Now, how do you see the Russian president's speech and Russia's support to the Donbas region?
With the President Putin's speech and with the final decision to recognize these fake republics, he infringed the territorial integrity and sovereignty of the Ukrainian country. He did it for the first time in 2014 by annexation of Crimea and occupation of two regions of Ukraine. But nowadays, he is trying to infringe international law, and actually he is recognizing these fake republics within the borders that are much larger than they occupy today. So that means that Putin is going to start an open war against other territories of Ukraine. Therefore, we urge for immediate sanctions against Moscow Federation, against Putin, and against the members of Security Council of Moscow Federation. And we think that all the democratic world should unite today to stop the aggressor and to stop the dictator.
Now, Sofia, you say that the democratic world must work together on this. Now, how do you think NATO can support Ukraine now?
First, Putin wants to accuse NATO in this conflict that is going on. And he demands that Ukraine writes down an obligation never to be a part of NATO. But the problem is that in 2014, when Putin and Moscow Federation first attacked Ukraine, we were not a part of NATO. We were a neutral country. But after Moscow and Putin aggression started, the resistance grew, and now more than 62% of Ukrainians want to be a part of North Atlantic Treaty Organization. Second, we understand that no one is going to fight for Ukraine, but Ukrainians have to do that. On the other hand, we need support and we need help. And even now, after Moscow aggression started, and after a few months ago, Putin started to threaten Ukrainians once again, some NATO member countries have supplied additional equipment to Ukraine, and they helped us with a lethal weapon, so Ukrainians have a chance at least to protect themselves. But today, after Putin's speech, we ask European Union and NATO to give us so-called defense umbrella to stop the possible aviation attack that might be used by Putin to attack Ukraine. And yes, we feel the support, political support by our partners, but we think that what can stop Putin and Moscow aggression today is the full-scale sanctions, economic sanctions against Moscow Federation, against Putin, and against the closest environment of Putin, the members of Duma and the members of the Security Council of the Federation.
All right, now, Sofia, of course, President Putin in his speech said that Ukraine does not allow for other countries to have a different defense establishment essentially in the disputed region. But he's avoided, moving in by saying that these essentially were military exercises. Now, how do you see that?
In Ukrainian constitution, we have written down that Ukraine is striving to be a part of European and Euro-Atlantic communities. That means that the very important aim for Ukrainians is to become a part of the European Union and NATO. And the Parliament of Ukraine decides whether the deployments of other countries are able to be present on the territory of Ukraine. Recently, the parliament let the instructors from different countries once again to be present to train our soldiers. If to talk about defense problems, I think that we would never ask anyone to come to our country if Putin had not attacked Ukraine. But now Ukraine, being a peaceful country in its own borders, within its own territory, has to protect itself. And what is very important for today is to remember, if Putin stops shelling and shooting, there will be peace. If Ukraine stops shooting and defending itself, there will be no Ukraine. And Ukraine nowadays is a borderline in between totalitarian Moscovian country and democratic world. And I think that on international arena, all the democratic countries that respect human rights and integrity, territorial integrity and sovereignty of the countries within their own borders should unite to stop the aggressor.
Right. You know, you've been talking about international community coming out to help you. Now, what is it exactly that Ukraine wants NATO and the European Union to do?
The European Union and NATO and our partner countries, starting from the United Kingdom and the United States of America, they promised the full-scale sanctions, economic sanctions against Moscow Federation and against the leaders of the Moscow Federation. Then there was raised the question to stop the activity of the Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline that is being used by Putin to terrorize actually European countries and to influence them according to the gas question. Actually, many European countries are dependent on that gas, but Putin needs this pipeline to get this influence. So if European countries stop the work of this gas pipeline, it will be also a big deal in countering Putin's aggression. But also we need this defense air umbrella, air defense system all over the Ukrainian territory, as we are really anxious about the possible air attack from Putin and Moscow Federation.
All right. Absolutely. Sofia, appreciate your joining us on Republic TV and sharing your views on the emerging situation. Thank you.